Well, that is the challenge. I mean, it's very difficult sometimes because any culture has elements that are pretty well known outside of it. Like most of my heritage is Scottish. So if I say I'm Scottish, what are people thinking? They're thinking kilts, bagpipes, haggis, the Loch Ness monster, very thick, interesting accent, all of that kind of stuff. Now, those are undeniably parts of Scotland. They're also stereotypes of Scotland. But if you go to Scotland, yes, you'll see kilts. Yes, you'll hear bagpipes. No, you won't see the Loch Ness monster, et cetera, only if you're lucky. But those are elements of the culture, but that's not what makes the culture what it is. I mean, not every single person wears a kilt. Not every single person plays the bagpipes. I know many Scots who hate haggis. They don't like it. So we can't just use that as a way to trigger and say, well, look, that's Scottish. So it's subtlety. It's the idea of subtlety. It's like there can be elements of that to represent, like the accent. Obviously, the accent is such a strong indicator, at least from a real world character, of where they are from. But even then, you have to be very careful. Like I know the Indiana Jones game got praise from people in Egypt because the accent you hear of the NPCs walking around the Giza Plateau is actual Egyptian Arabic. It's not just like generic. And we did that on purpose. We wanted to make sure it was that accurate. But you have to be very, very careful about doing that replication, which also leads to the idea of cultural appropriation. But that's honestly another topic. But so when you want to replicate a culture, obviously you use those key elements, but you have to think about like what's your goal in using that culture in the first place? Why are they even in the game? Why does it make sense? And then one of the things, the techniques like some of the larger games have done, because they can actually afford it. Like Ubisoft does this strategy. They actually send some of the members of their team to the location that will be represented in the game. They did this, for example, with Far Cry 5 in Montana, where they sent the team to Montana to understand what does it feel like to be here? What are the people like? And that is a very powerful way to help the team understand how to basically design the characters accurately without going too far towards tropes or stereotypes. But again, not a lot of companies can afford to do that with their team.